So I got another conspiracy for you guys. And I know a lot of people are going to argue, but go read your comics. Go back and look at all the Marvel movies. The three movies that I want to look at in sequence is going to be Avengers Age of Ultron, followed by Civil War, followed by Infinity War, followed by Endgame. This conspiracy is all about the secret that Steve Rogers, Captain America, is hiding from us. It is of my interpretation that Steve Rogers actually shifted Mjolnir in Age of Ultron. We all remember when he was sitting in that room and all the Avengers tried to lift the hammer. They couldn't. But Steve was able to budget. That has not happened unless you want to count the Hulk shifting the hammer. But that has not happened. That doesn't happen in the comics. It doesn't happen in the MCU. In fact, the first Thor movie, Thor was not able to even shift it budget at all because he was unworthy when his father cast him back down to Earth, which would have been a great time for me to introduce Donald Blake. But that's a story for another video. But getting back on task here, Captain America actually shifted the hammer. And I think in his mind, he realized that he could. So when he pulled again, he played and pretended like he couldn't lift the hammer. And he goes and he throws his hands up. Thor gets a little worried because he's like, whoa, someone else can lift the hammer? Does that mean I won't be able to lift the hammer again? Who knows? But what I find very, very, very interesting, if you fast forward again over to Civil War, Captain America and Iron Man are sparring in what looks like this bunker area. And Iron Man in the comics is almost on par with Thor and Hulk strength level wise. Given that he's at 100%, he's using the right armor, he's capable of lifting several, 100 tons or close to 100 tons. Usually as a kid growing up, he's always been strength level 1 to 7. He's usually always around 6. So he was able to go toe-to-toe with Iron Man and even defeat him. Oh, well, he's a tactician. He's, he knows different fighting styles. But this is Iron Man. This guy one punch can send Captain America through a brick wall. But he wasn't able to do that. Captain America was able to put him down fairly easily. I get it in Civil War, the comic books. He kind of did the same thing. But that was a different rendition. Different things came into play. But in the movie, I believe he had the power of Thor then. Secondly, we go to Infinity War. Thanos, right before he collects the last stone from Vision, Captain America opposes him and he grabs his hand. As Thanos is trying to press him down, Thanos has this confusing look on his face as if, wow, there's something different about Captain America. I believe at this point, he had the power of Thor. Then if we go to Endgame, Captain America is able to call on the hammer. When have we ever seen Captain America having the ability to call on the hammer? If you're not worthy, you have to, the first way that you're able, the only way that you would be able to call on the hammer is if you have previously left the hammer and you have continued on in your worthiness. So it must mean that Captain America actually technically was approved and granted permission to move the hammer of Age of Ultron, and he put the hammer down quickly, but the hammer, Mjolnir, always honored that move, and he was able to call on the hammer in Endgame and use that against Thanos. If I'm lying, correct me, but definitely something is going on.